I'm going to talk a bit about today's release, then I'll walk you through our interface, then I'll take a few questions at the end. Just now, at 11 a.m. BST on 5th of July, Wikileaks began publishing the Syria files. More than 2 million emails from Syrian political figures, ministries, and associated companies, dating from August 2006 to March 2012. This extraordinary data set derives from 680 Syrian-related entities or domain names, including those of the Ministries of Presidential Affairs, Foreign Affairs, Finance, Information, Transport and Culture. Over the next 2 months, groundbreaking stories derived from the files will appear in Wikileaks, Al-Akbar, Al-Masri Al-Yum, ARD, Associated Press, L'Espresso, OVNI and Publico.es. Other publications will announce themselves closer to their publishing date. At this time, Syria is undergoing a violent internal conflict that has killed 6,000 to 15,000 people in the last 18 months. The Syria files shine a light on the inner workings of the Syrian government and economy, but they also reveal how the West and Western companies say one thing and do another. The range of information extends from the intimate correspondence of the most senior Ba'ath Party figures to records of financial transfers sent from Syrian ministries to other nations. The database comprises of 2.5 million emails from 680 domains. There are over 650,000 different email addresses that have sent emails and over 1 million different recipients. There are a number of different languages in the set, including around 400,000 emails in Arabic and 68,000 emails in Russian. The data is more than 8 times the size of Cablegate in terms of number of documents and more than 100 times the size in terms of data. Around 42,000 emails were infected with viruses or Trojans. To solve these complexities, Wikileaks has built a general-purpose, multi-language political data mining system which can handle massive data sets like those represented by the Syria files. In such a large collection of information, it is not possible to verify every single email at once. However, Wikileaks and its co-publishers have done so for all initial stories to be published. We are statistically confident that the vast majority of the emails are what they purport to be. Wikileaks founder Julian Assange cannot be with us today, but has given this comment on the Syria files. The material is embarrassing to Syria, but it is also embarrassing to Syria's external opponents. It helps us not merely to criticize one group or another, but to understand their interests, actions, and thoughts. It is only through understanding this conflict that we can hope to resolve it. We would like to thank our sources, technical team, donors, and defenders, without whom this contribution to the historical record would not be possible. Thank you. So as you can see, this is the releases that have just been published at 11 o'clock today. They say 10 because it's we're in British Standard Time and it's for UTC, but they're the ones that are just out, and that is live on our site now. I will show you a little bit of the search interface I was just describing. What I'll do is I'll look up just a couple of searches, but about one of these stories that have been published here today. This is the first story to be published from these files. It's about Selex, which is a company belonging to the multinational Western defense giant Finmeccanica. Finmeccanica owns DRS Technologies, a leading supplier to the US defense and intelligence community. In the database, there are emails demonstrating that Selex sold a technology called Tetra to the Syrian government. This technology allows police forces to communicate in a secure and reliable manner. The database demonstrates that the selling, the assistance, and training by Selex continued through to this year. This is our search interface here. If you were to, on the example of that story, put in a term here. Now this would search, because of the ratio of the screen, it looks a bit funny at the end, so I do apologize. But if you were to search, put a name or any term in there, that will search all the documents, the attachments, or file names within the attachments, etc. So that's sort of a term to go through the entire database that's there. So if we just try that. And as you can see, the results are coming up just below. So there's almost 2,000 results just for that term. You can obviously open individual emails. Comes up, there you are. And just going back to this one. Then below the search terms box, there are different ways to restrict the search that you've done. So you can do the subject includes, that's obviously just within the subject line of the email, what's included, and below that, what's excluded. So you could exclude spam or press releases, for example, if we wanted to exclude the word files. And as you can see, not by much, but the results have gone down. You can limit by the recipient counts, which is quite a useful one if you're looking for the more private emails. You can restrict the number of recipients in that way, limiting by date if you're beginning to get an idea of a story and want to reduce the time with which you're searching. Obviously, if you're looking for specific people from and to. This one just down here is quite a good one, the mailbox owner. For example, if we'd seen an interesting email account that the emails were coming from, we can start to look specifically just at those. So for example, if I start to type in this, we can see this is for Intracom, which is one of the companies that are involved in the story. And as we start to type it in, we can see all of the email addresses that are from that domain and all the different individuals that have an email address at that domain. The number in brackets afterwards is the number of emails that they've either sent an email from or to. So you can start to limit it that way. Or if you just want everything from Intracom, rather than looking for a specific person, if it's just that company you've decided is of interest rather than a specific person, you can do the same by typing it in there, and we can see the full number of emails that have gone to or from all email addresses that company has. The interface reads the Arabic and reads the Russian, which is quite a complex thing to do. Obviously, they're very different letters that are used, the language goes in different directions. So this is quite a complex thing to be able to cater for all of these different languages. We are also working with our co-publishers on any additional features. For example, someone said that it would be good to be able to filter by language, so that's something that will be implemented on this search interface soon. So it's quite a complex system, but it's also one that is able to be utilized for many different large data sets and would work in a pretty similar way, and features are being added all the time. So this is just a quick look for you there at the interface that us and our publishing partners have been using. And I think that is all on that. I will just show you and then take a few questions with our graphic on the screen there. I think someone's going to...
I just want to... We'll take a very limited amount of questions, but I know Julian is very newsworthy at the moment. Can we just keep the questions to do with the release? We have no news that you don't already know with regards to Julian, and so I'll hand over. Can we take sets of 3 and give 3 questions at a time?
What did the Syria files tell you about the relationship between Russia and Syria over the last year?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give us any headlines from this, anything that we can take away from this before going through the interface, and just the latest on Mr. Assange and what he's feeling there in the Ecuador embassy right now?
Is there information about the opposition in Syria as well and companies that are dealing with them, or only about the regime?
Okay, so all of these questions seem to relate to the same topic to me, and that is the different stories that are coming out. Obviously, we're unable to comment on the stories until they're published. I've been through the first story briefly that we are publishing today. There are a number of others that will be scheduled over the coming months and probably longer. Until they are written about and published, obviously, I can't comment on those. But this is a large data set. It will take time for all of these stories to come out. And so we shall see.
Mr. Assange?
As my colleague said,
Can we just
this
keep the
isn't
questions
about Mr.
to this?
Assange.
Is he going to the Belgravia police headquarters tomorrow?
Do you have a figure on how many emails involve British companies?
I think we're taking 3 and then I'll...
Is there any information on Blue Coat Technologies, the American company that sold equipment to Syria?
Does this mean Wikileaks is back on top and able to continue publishing new data after quite a hiatus of not doing so?
Is it the rebranding of Wikileaks with the new partners? Are you going to become a mainstream media instead of a opposition with the head with the face of Julian Assange in the front? Is it going to be something else?
With regards to British companies and Blue Coat, a bit like the other one, I can't go into specifics, but I do believe both are mentioned in the database, and we will see the actual stories as they get printed. With regards to WikiLeaks' work, it is a difficult time at the moment. We have a banking blockade, a grand jury sitting, trying to build a case against the staff. But we are continuing to work through that, and this is another. We did obviously the GI files earlier this year, and then this is the second large release of this year. So we are continuing. I don't know if there's a rebranding specifically. I'm not sure where you've gotten that from. But
Okay, that's it for today. Thank you very much.